Alright guys, hey, welcome to the first episode of Individual Opinion. We thank you guys for joining in on us, and we hope this is going to be a really awesome series. So we're just going to go down the line and introduce ourselves. I'm Jacob.
I'm Baldwin.
I'm Brandon.
I'm Davis.
I'm Chance.
And today we're going to be talking about the colony of Roanoke, which entirely mysteriously just disappeared out of nowhere. Like, no trace, nothing except two things that were left, carved in pieces of wood around the colony. And we're just going to get into that, talk about the theories we have, and hopefully you guys will enjoy it and get your opinion back on it so we can make more videos for you guys like this. So let's just get into it. Chance?
All right. Well, before I go first, does anybody have any opinions or any theories that they want to go ahead and just put out there before I do mine?
Because mine's more let's cover the basic gist of it. I guess.
Okay,
What happened?
That's good.
What happened?
Okay. So, let's see. Pretty much, colony was started. Colony was started by John White in North Carolina, and it was founded by Sir Walter Raleigh, I believe, is what it was. And it started with like around 120 people. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what it was. And then John White left because they were running low on supplies, and he got sidetracked, or he couldn't leave. I mean, when he finally got to England because of the Spanish War, whatever it was.
The Spanish-English War.
Spanish-English
War.
Yeah.
So he couldn't leave yet, and it took him, 2-3 years?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like
around
to get there. And then once he finally got there, pretty much everybody was gone, and the only things that were left was a carving of Croatian, or the word Croton thing.
Yeah.
And then on a tree, crow. And that's all.
And that crow part, I'm thinking that someone was trying to write Croton or Croatian into the wood, and then something happened and he just dropped it or something, and that moment that he was stopped is whatever happened.
Or he was getting just
but at the same time,
that's the most I think that's very possible.
They're part of the Croatian Indians.
Nah, dude. But at the same time, there wasn't really any evidence of foul play or attack.
Yeah, exactly.
So why would he stop? What would make him stop?
Well, it could have just been the group, if they were leaving, saying hey, we gotta go.
It's the Croatian Indians.
If they were
heading out,
if they were being attacked by Indians, they could have just sounded a horn or alarm saying they were being attacked.
Why would they do that? There's nobody near him.
Yeah, exactly. I mean to alert everyone.
To alert everyone in the colony.
But that's a tiny colony.
There was no sign. It's a tiny colony.
It's a very tiny colony, too.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't
There's how many people?
There was about 100 based on what he said.
That's not
you don't need a single.
Yeah. It was a pretty small colony. And the fact is, if it's starting, I think you're going to know. Yeah. If they got attacked. And the fact is, there was no sign of them being attacked.
No.
Yeah.
True. Yeah.
Also,
so the only thing that I'm thinking, sorry.
Yeah, now you're good.
The only thing I'm thinking that would stop them was just maybe they'd been packing the whole day to leave, and then it was just starting to get dark, and they were like, "Hey, we gotta wrap it up. We gotta go."
Yeah. So he basically said, "Screw it," and just
pretty much. It doesn't matter anymore. They already have one carving in.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I already carved that. We're good.
That kind of thing. Mm-hmm. It's okay, we don't need to finish it then.
So let's real quick before we speculate. Let's get into why, possible reasons why they left.
Okay.
There are a lot of theories.
Yeah, there's so many theories. I think the best way to start it is, because this is going to be a lot faster, is the very outlandish theories.
Sorry, outlandish.
So the crazy stuff that's
the
fun to talk about, but it's probably not.
Probably not true.
I think my favorite of the ones, and that's the most outlandish and easy to be okay, that definitely didn't happen, was
The Walking Dead.
Yes. Is that
Zombie apocalypse, people. We're getting into this.
Yeah. So it was a site of a zombie apocalypse. So pretty much the whole thing is, there's a lot of theories of the fact that they might have resorted to cannibalism, or they were cannibalized by tribes around them. And that just infection would happen, or was it happening around them, and so pretty much they merged it, and we're like, oh, zombies. But my big thing on it is just the fact that if zombies did happen, there would at least be some evidence of this, if not the virus spreading.
I mean, if their bodies were like in a state of decay, their bodies would have decayed in those 3 years that White came back. So he wouldn't have he didn't find any bones or anything. Their bones could have been decomposed and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no, I get that, and that's good. That's a good reason. But the thing is, just like the virus would have spread somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like you got to think about it. Like, what exactly does this quote unquote virus? What does it affect? Does it affect like all biological life or just humans?
Yeah. Is it airborne?
Because if there weren't any other humans around, then it wouldn't have spread.
It wouldn't have spread.
Okay, yeah.
But I mean, you also have to think about like the animals in that area too. If it did affect animals, animals could have also spread it. Yeah. But you have to also think about it in terms of them actually coming to that new world. It's like, we don't know how big this area is. We don't know what all is here. So it could be, like, I don't think it was zombies, but if it did have something to do with the virus, I think it is very possible that it could have spread one way or another.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I also think one thing is with the whole, like, even if it's only humans, they were buddy-buddy with the Croatians. Mm-hmm. That's, I mean, probably one reason they carved it into the wood. Mm-hmm. So, the fact is, I mean, like, the Croatian tribe could have easily just been, like, dropped by and been like, what the fuck is going on?
Or the Croatians could have been affected as well, and their remains, I mean, were the Croatian remains ever found?
I don't think so.
Because I didn't read any mention of them after the colony of Roanoke disappeared.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think they were ever found.
Yeah, you also gotta, like, when you're talking about Indians and thinking about Indians around this time, you also gotta think about the whole, I guess, with Europeans coming over, smallpox, new diseases.
Yeah.
Like, basically, a whole majority of Indians are getting wiped out.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
And some of the Indians that could have survived this could have interpreted it as they thought it was like the devil's work, or like their devils,
or
like
witchcraft.
Witchcraft. Yeah.
They displeased their god.
Yeah, exactly. And that could have been viewed through history as what could have happened, like zombie apocalypse. Like
Yeah.
Wasn't witchcraft like one of the other theories that they had?
Yeah.
There was kind of there was like 2 or 3 of it. One was just like that witches controlled the colony. Mm-hmm. Another was it was really 2 in 1, but it was either that the tribe, because the Croatian tribe did believe in witchcraft apparently. Mm-hmm. So with the spread of disease that the colonies would have brought with them from Europe, that the natives wouldn't have been immune to, or not immune, but like resilient to. Yeah. They could have taken it as, oh, these people are witches, and they're spreading this disease to kill all of us. Exactly. Or that the Croatians themselves were the witches, and that they killed or controlled or whatever with they messed with the colony.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the Croatians' view on their spiritual side led to other theories, like this one, the Virginia Dare. She was like the granddaughter of White. Yeah. There was a theory that she survived whatever happened and was transformed into this white doe that appeared like after White came back. Yeah. And it's just around this Native American lore that is it's not hard to believe, but it's a little bit.
I think it kind of is, just because the fact that, like, I'm trying to pull it up now. That whole theory is based off of a poem that was created in 1901.
And it was on Virginia's 3rd birthday that White finally returned. So he kind of saw it as like, oh my god, this is fate. Like, I guess in time of distress, he kind of seen like he needs some reason behind this, so he created his own reason.
Well, but it wasn't. But like that has nothing to do with this theory, because this is created by the poem was written by Sally Southall Cotton in 1901. So this wasn't White's theory. It was just he probably thought what most people think.
But on White's 3rd birthday, Virginia's 3rd birthday, when he came back, he saw a white doe.
Well, who's to say
Yeah.
he did? Who's like, I mean, I guess like when what happened at Roanoke, when you see that, like, like obviously I don't know what it's like, but like if you see that, you will, like, you would have so much, I guess, confusion and grief. You would latch on to anything.
Yeah. So make your mind understand what
so
happened.
if not only losing his granddaughter, that would have been 3 at the time, if she was alive at the point, but his own daughter, and in that case probably his son-in-law.
And like at the same time, who's to say like this quote unquote doe was his granddaughter or his daughter?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But like my problem with this theory is like this gets into like witchcraft and like magic and stuff. Yeah. And like I don't know about you guys, but I don't.
There has to be a logical explanation. Yeah. I mean, to go like from another unlogical explanation, like the alien abduction theory, which is like one of the most common superstitious ones that people have. Like aliens came down, they transferred the colonists into another realm or some other dimension, and then I even says on some of conspiracy websites that the colonists of Roanoke are going to appear one day in the exact same spots.
Jesus.
And they're going to feel like it's been like 1 hour since they've left.
Oh, that reminds me of the show.
Manifest. Yeah.
Well, that could also, like, you could also use that theory and say, like, let's just pretend, I guess, these aliens, like, if they even exist, like, have some sort of, like, higher understanding or, like, control of, like, I guess, foresight or time, and they just fucking nuked it.
There's no evidence of like any explosion.
I know, but this is like alien.
True. So like a warfare that could have just wiped out, like turned everyone to dust, maybe.
Like instead of maybe nuke is the wrong word. Let's just say like
some device.
Because like time though. Because like that set a whole lot of events in motion to lead to now or like something in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Or it could be something that's already happened. We don't know.
Yeah,
it's still happening.
Just to throw out this, like, if maybe it wasn't aliens, maybe it was like some people from the future, like, came back to Roanoke and destroyed it because they would have found something. Because we've looked and seen, like, through like all of history, people have said the word Croatoan, like Amelia Earhart, Edgar Allan Poe, all these famous people throughout history. So we're thinking like secret society of some kind that maybe in the future has control to go back in time and stop this from happening. So it kind of creates like a loop. So just something to think about.
That also affects a lot of areas, I guess, because like, I mean, it's kind of interesting that all these random famous people would talk about that, but I mean, I don't buy it.
I mean, my big thought on it, I don't know about the other appearances of it all, but like Amelia Earhart, she could have been saying that or written it down in her journal because of the fact that like she thought she was gonna go missing, and she was like, oh, like those match up, like me going missing and Croatia or the whole Roanoke colony going missing. Where like Edgar Allan Poe, he was a pretty dark writer, so it could have just been him like babbling on because he was known to babble at the very very end of his life when he died. True. But like it could have just been him saying that because of the fact that like he had gone there recently because he was on vacation or he was like doing something when he died.
Yeah, he went missing. He turned up like nearly unconscious and babbling in a gutter in Baltimore. Yeah. What really is interesting is like Croatian, the term like keeps Croatoan. Croatoan. It keeps coming up as people die, like on or go missing.
That's weird.
Well, but like my thought is with like the Amelia Earhart, she could have been like, oh, I might go missing. She wrote that.
Why couldn't she have just written missing then?
That's true.
Like also,
but like I don't know. But like then also with the whole Edgar Allan Poe thing, it was him probably just he went there and he was doing some research to make a new poem.
That actually would have been a cool poem.
That would have been a very cool poem.
Because that kind of fits with his
mysterious, dark vibe.
Well, I mean, also something to throw out there, like this whole business, like Croatoan, and like famous people mentioning it. Like, who's to say it was actually like these famous people saying it? What if it was like some sort of what if it was someone else or something else? Like, it could be like a secret society that's like totally, like, I guess trying to control these things.
This sounds even more logical.
I mean, or like, think about it like this. What if, like I just had this thought just now, like, what if, like, there's some sort of, like, this is, like, really far out there and, like, really free thinking, but, like, what if it's, like, some, like, I know we were talking about this, like, last week, like, what if there's, like, some, like, time police or whatever, and, like, over unexplained, like, things, code, like, Croatoan is a code word for something.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm talking about.
We need to come back here.
Exactly. So they would fix something or save them.
Like inconclusive.
Yeah. It's like I was talking about where they went back in time to that point to either fix something or to stop something from actually happening worse.
Yeah.
So from our point of view, the Roanoke disappeared, but in another timeline, something could have caused at Roanoke to make the entire world like a worse off place.
Yeah.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah.
Because like these are like, this is a time of like roots in America, and like if you alter anything in that time, things could be like drastically different.
Yeah.
Because like, let's say, like, I mean, there is little evidence, but there's some evidence of like colonies disagreeing with each other and getting into turmoil.
Yeah.
Like, what if like Roanoke was like this big player or whatever, or this big factor, and like there's like some kind of like conflict.
I mean, that could be possible.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't doubt it. It definitely is possible.
But yeah,
It's a possible theory.
we're kind of getting off track here though.
Yeah.
Well, I have one last thought. Okay. So, my big thing with reading the whole Edgar Allan Poe part again is it said allegedly he whispered the word. And then I thought I read more. Maybe it was a different website or something. Yeah, I guess it was.
But it could have been misunderstood.
Yeah, well, also like there was some bank robber.
Yeah, the bank robber who etched it into his cell.
Yeah, that one's cool, but like...
But he was never seen again.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, a bank robber, like, I guess you could change your identity so you, like, people would notice. Like,
Yeah, but like my big... Yeah, it could have been like him just being like, I'm gonna go missing.
Exactly.
Like, on purpose. And then, yeah. But like, also, there was... I don't remember what the other one was, but it was like... It was another allegedly they scratched it into their bedpost.
Yeah.
Also, like, something to consider when we're doing future podcasts and research, just like whatever we're looking into, just like see if you can find it having anything to do with the word Croatoan.
And we'll just relate it back to this.
That was cool.
Yeah. Because it appears all throughout history. So
that, like, also, I mean, that like really convinces me that there's like some sort of secret society or whatever.
I mean, we're talking about like the Illuminati, like the all-seeing eye, like the symbol of the Illuminati is like an Egyptian symbol. So this whatever secret society could have been around during the Roanoke times.
You know,
Even past
also,
that.
like, something we could do is like see through different languages, like popular languages like Latin, Greek, Hebrew, basically the foundations of the Western world.
Yeah.
See what Croatoan means, or like those sections of those words mean in those languages, because like we used a lot of like Greek words in our root words, and also we incorporate a lot of Latin, even though we're like really not related to those languages. Like, for example, I know this is off topic, but like,
You're good. Yeah.
English is more related to German than Spanish and French, which is like kind of weird.
It's weird.
That is,
I'm looking back and I just found the whole another thing of the mysterious appearances of the word Croatoan, and it says reportedly scribbled the word in her journal for the Amelia Earhart journal part, and then
we're talking about, like,
it's allegedly that Last Slept Hotel they had the word Croatoan carved in.
And isn't there one about a ghost ship?
Yeah, the ghost ship one is like really cool though.
Yeah.
Because it says the word also appears on the last page of the logbook of the ghost ship Carol A. Daring in 1921, which ran aground without its crew on Cape Hatteras, I think, near what was once known as Croton Island.
That's weird.
That one's cool. That one I really like.
So it's kind of like fate that may have dragged their ship or something else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, so do y'all want to move away from?
Let's
Y'all want to get to like the more realistic ones?
More realistic. Yeah.
And then get into like the ones that it's like, okay, this is probably actually what happened.
Yeah.
Okay, so real quick, let me just hit you with this. Something that like scientists have considered and like studied is like this like really big drought in the area that made them all
Oh yeah,
like,
I saw
go look
that.
for like other colonies.
Yeah. The only problem I have with that drought is like if there was a drought, there would still be evidence.
There is some evidence, like geographical, like in the earth.
Yeah.
Like in the earth, there's evidence.
Geological.
Yeah, geological.
What happened to the people though? If there was a drought, like they would have.
They would have left.
Their
Yeah, they
bodies
would've
left
left
behind.
They would have migrated
wouldn't
somewhere
have
else.
found
True. Yeah, if they had like migrated further north, they would have no idea where to look for them, so they would just assume like they were dead or something.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, I mean, these are English colonies we're talking about, so like you gotta like someone on the ship on the way over would be like, "Hey, just so we know, like where are the other colonies at, just in case something goes down and we need to get out."
They didn't really have like a foolproof map. I know they had like some sketches, but it wasn't like an actual. Yeah.
Because it was the first colony.
Yeah.
This colony was found before Jamestown.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It was before it, definitely. Okay, so my theory that I think is kind of it's iffy, but I think it could work. It's very possible. Is the Spanish troops murdered the colonists?
Yeah.
So it's pretty much saying at the time England and Spain were at war when the colony disappeared, and that Spain had colonized Florida, and they had stationed troops there, and just kind of they marched their way up and they slaughtered them.
Yeah, but I mean,
But like that's such a far distance.
And there would have been evidence of an attack of slaughter.
Or just like people will have found like Spanish stuff by
Yeah. There's no way the Spanish could have cleaned up all of that. It's impossible.
But here's another thing you consider. Like, if the Spanish came, here's what I think would have happened. Like, if this happened, here's what I think would have happened. Is they would have sailed up from Florida and kidnapped the colonists for information.
Yeah, but they wouldn't have known much information. And again,
that would have seemed like a little
that was
short for them.
honestly, it would be a lot smarter to go on foot than to sail, because the fact is they didn't at all know the landscape.
Yeah.
Because they literally probably still thought it was India.
Their ships could have run aground anywhere. Yeah.
But also, they know, like, obviously they know about Indians. So if I was a bunch of Spanish guys, I wouldn't want to be going through, like, unexplored.
But here's the thing, though. Because
Well, but it would be still easier than like, oh, let's go on a boat in the middle of the water and just hope we don't destroy.
Just like sailing, I'm talking about like sailing up the coast. Because like you cover more distance in more time.
If they're all soldiers, they would have been pretty well. And because they were in Florida, it's where that's gonna be a crown, jewel of the crown in Spain. They're gonna be like, let's like supply them super well.
But Chance, what were you
Yeah,
saying?
what do you think, Chance?
Basically, my take on this is your Indian like theory. It's like you're walking through unknown territory. There could be attacks at any time, but you got to remember the Spanish are way better prepared for any kind of attack. They're trained soldiers.
I mean,
also, like, just real quick, something to consider is like in physical warfare, like, of course, gun beats bow and arrow.
They did have,
Right.
They have more arsenal.
Well, because also look at history. They slaughtered the Aztecs.
I know.
And they were one of the most advanced Indian tribes there were.
Yeah.
And they easily slaughtered
I
them.
don't think fearing Indians was the main reason
No,
why they chose
no.
to walk through.
If
but-
they did.
No, all I'm saying though is if I was a Spanish soldier in a new, unexplored land, and there's like hundreds of thousands of people who want me dead, like, yeah, I can kill them with my gun, But like those muskets, they're like one shot.
Yeah, but that's why they have swords.
And this was during Spain's golden age.
Yeah, but
so they had like the sense of I'm invincible, God's on my side.
Because another thing you could easily say is also one reason they might have trekked that far was they thought of the what is it called? I can't remember what it's called, but the Golden City. Oh, yeah. They would have been going on expeditions for that El Dorado. That's it. Yeah. Why wouldn't you track?
Yeah, they were far distance. They were looking all over the continent for gold.
And weren't they looking for the Fountain of Youth too?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe so.
They did not end up well.
No, they did not.
I still don't think it was Spanish.
Yeah. Well, no, I doubt that.
I doubt it was Spanish.
Alright, so another theory, which I think it's probably not because the Croatians were buddy-buddy with them. Well, Croatians...
Are Croatians the people?
They were the people.
Croatians are the people, and Croatoan was the word.
Yeah, it was the actual, like the island and the tribe. They were the Croatoans.
Okay.
So the Croatoan tribe executed the colonists as suspected witches. So the big evidence for this is the fact that the Croatoan tribe reportedly believed in witches, both male and female, who used black magic to do evil, and European colonists are known for bringing disease from Europe to the Americas, killing a lot of natives.
And we were talking about this earlier, so that could be interpreted as black.
Exactly. So it would have been like, oh, these people are trying to kill us all. Let's kill them. Yep.
But also, no evidence of conflict.
True.
That's very true. But the fact is, it could have been this. It could have been they carved it into the fort. They left the fort, going to the Croatoans because they were buddy with them, and they were like, or when they showed up, they were like, okay, this is too much, and they killed them.
Yeah,
because they thought they were witches.
Yeah, but also, like, just real quick, I don't know if this is like happened or not, but did the English did they assume that the Croatoans killed all the colonists and then they went and killed them?
I don't know. I don't know. Because the Croatoans were never heard from again after Roanoke.
Well, because another thing is not John White. No, yeah.
Yeah, White.
White would have known that they were friends with that tribe.
Yeah.
So they would have been. That would have probably been the last tribe they would have gone after.
And even if they did find out, he would have never known that. So how would he assume?
Yeah.
He would have just been like, "Oh, they went to them for safety."
Yeah, exactly. From whatever was actually happening.
Well, just real quick, does anyone have any information on how large the Croatoan tribe was?
Oh no. It was a small island. I read that it was like a really small island. Not even. It was a village, like maybe 10, 20 huts.
Alright, then think about this. What if, and this is this is part of my outlandish theory I talked about earlier with the word of Croatoan. What if this tribe is that group of people that have been going around labeling things Croatoan? What if they just disguise themselves as Indians?
Wait, what?
Wait, so they're not?
So you're saying this Indian? He's saying this Indian tribe
Yeah.
is the secret society that we're talking about. They're going down through history, like their descendants are going through history. It seems. I mean,
That's a bit far-fetched, but I mean, it's possible.
it's possible, but I think somebody would have blown the horn on that by now.
It seems a bit far-fetched in my opinion.
Somebody would have been like, this isn't right.
Because Amelia Earhart wrote that in her journal before she left.
And she was pretty white. I don't think she was...
No, I'm saying that they, these guys, let's, assume that these guys have, control over time and, time travel and stuff. I'm pretty sure they know how to, change their appearance temporarily.
That's some pretty big jumps.
That's some big jumps, my dude.
Just the time travel, but then being able to disguise themselves.
I mean, some of the Native American spiritual lores, they have animal spirit guides, they've got all these.
But that doesn't mean they would have had the technology to travel.
Not technology, but spiritually.
Yeah, but still. Okay. Do y'all want to move on to another theory?
Yeah.
Okay. The colonists were massacred by Chief Powhatan. He was a leader of a tribe in the area, and while Jamestown, in 1607, the members of Jamestown tried to learn the fate of what happened to Roanoke.
Yeah.
And pretty much, the Jamestown Secretary William Strachey, whatever, claimed the native chief Powhatan confessed to leader John Smith that his tribe murdered the colony as payback for aligning themselves with a rival tribe, probably the Croatians. Allegedly, he possessed items that were from the colonists, including a musket barrel and a brass mortar and pestle. But like, the fact is, a lot of people dispute it just because of the fact that it was only recorded by Strachey, whatever. But Smith never mentioned it in his own writings.
Yeah.
Which I think if John Smith, being the leader of Jamestown, and he would obviously, if he talked to them, he was obviously invested in it, attempting to learn the fate of what happened to them. He would have been like, if that's a legend, like if something that would have actually happened, he would have written it down.
And if Powhatan actually confessed to that, I think, during the tensions between the English and the Americans at the time, I think English were gone. You killed our people. We're gonna burn your village.
We're gonna slaughter you. You slaughtered our people. We're gonna.
I think that would be really stupid on Powhatan's part. Oh yeah, we killed your people.
Yeah, because why would he put himself in that position?
Exactly. He was outgunned, outmatched.
Because the fact is, even if he did try it, or if he actually did that, Smith could have been like, okay, he's just saying that to like make their tribe look strong. Yeah. And he's not actually taking it at face value, but he's Powhatan is saying that to be like, yeah, we slaughtered your people easily. Yeah. To make them look strong and menacing.
All right. Any other theories that anybody wants to throw out there real quick?
I feel like those are the only ones. Or like, there's also the
Well, like this is like the elephant in the room, but I think we all know that theory.
Time travel.
No. Let's like talk about some more theories.
Okay. So I mean, this is the last one. Now I'm like, this could happen, but I doubt it. Would be that the colonists tried to sail back to England. And the thing with that would be just that's why there's no sign of like of attack. Yeah. But the fact is, because they would have gotten tired of waiting for John White.
How would they have left without?
But they did have a boat.
That wouldn't be big enough, right?
But no, it was not at all big enough. I've pulled up a photo of the boats, the type of boat, and it's pretty small. Also, they wouldn't have gone far.
But they could have built boats, no?
They could have built boats.
Knowledgeable enough?
But this,
I don't think so.
The Indians built boats. If they were friends with the Croats.
But I don't think they were the kind of boats that can get you to Europe.
Yeah, that's way too long.
Because the main support that they have is just the fact that like there would have been like we wouldn't have found the shipwreck. So, but like that's the ship there's also that's the big evidence against it. Yeah. Which is like, well, yeah, duh.
How could you find a shipwreck?
You can't because that journey from the New World to Europe,
it's pretty far. It's pretty far.
There was a 50-50 chance of you never even making it. That's why the English invented like the joint stock company, because if your boat died, you wouldn't lose all your money. Yeah. So, but that trek the ship could have turned over. It could have been attacked by pirates. It could have been a lot of things could have happened. Oh yeah. Probably the reason why this one never reached England and said, "Oh, guys, we're back."
I still think it was way too small of a boat to get all of those people in, and if they left people, we would have known.
Yeah. Also, one giant hole in that theory is Croatoan.
What do you mean? Right. Why would they write that if they left?
Yeah, why would they write that?
And why would he stop writing it if it was a planned leaving, like the Crow? Why would he stop if it was just a planned? Okay, guys, we're
going back to Europe. Why write it?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, yeah. So do y'all want to get to like the actual meat of the theories, the ones that we actually think
the logical ones? Yeah. There you go.
All right, because I actually have a very logical theory. I don't know if y'all have any logical theories you want to put out there before mine.
Put yours out right now. Sounds good.
Yeah.
I'm good. All right. So basically, my theory goes like this. So you know how the Croatoans were friends with the Roanoke people, supposedly.
Yeah.
So, and we know for a fact that they were an actual tribe based on what we've been reading.
Yeah.
So my theory is that like they haven't been abducted no signs of attack, no signs of
Right.
damage, so
Right.
there's no war going on between them, which
Yeah.
would probably prove friendly relationships.
Right.
Now, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like
Great-
how.
great basic
Let me
thing.
ask you this: how was Thanksgiving made? How was Thanksgiving an actual holiday?
The Puritans and the Indians like sat down they agreed on a peace.
Yeah, but they were distinct cultures at that point.
But also on top of that, the Puritans at that time, they didn't know how to farm on the coast because the soil there was not good for farming.
Right.
So my assumption is like the Crotons came over, it's like, hey, we have a better area that we can take you to, and it's much better, which would be the Croton Island, which we've been reading about.
And the people of Roanoke would have said, "Oh, we're still waiting on our guide to bring our resources. We don't want to wait 3 years for him, otherwise we'll all die. So help out, guys."
If they would have given up, like you mentioned, they had different cultures.
Yeah,
Like,
they wouldn't have
if-
assimilated, I
If it
think.
takes you 3 years, like to come back with your family there,
Yeah.
they would have given up. They would have been like, freaking screw my culture.
Think about physical distinctions.
Well, but like people have said that they've seen.
Blue-eyed, blonde-hair Indian natives.
Well,
That's the thing, though.
I mean, I would
That's
say
the only
blonde.
thing.
Blonde is like a German.
Yeah, Europeans during this time, I mean,
Look at this photo of the basic.
I mean, that's
drawing.
black and white, though. They didn't have color long ago.
But like, if you're doing blonde hair, you're not gonna fill it in.
if you're looking at it from the Disney perspective, where John Smith's the standard white guy with golden locks, then but that's Disney.
But that's the thing. You don't know if they had blonde hair or not.
Also, like, hold up. So, like, of course, we know he came back eventually 3 years later.
Yeah.
If they assimilated, don't you think they would come forward?
They could. The tribe could have moved on though. Because these Indian tribes went where like the migratory. They went where food was. They went where crops were good, like seasonal.
Well, hold up.
So he just couldn't find them.
That is some Indians. That's like mostly plain nations.
That's true.
True.
There are some
Yeah.
tribes that would stay, especially in like Washington.
Yeah.
Like, they
Why
just,
Washington?
because like that's a
Just
really
their style.
like
It's the breadbasket. It's a good place to.
And my theory is kind of based on them staying in that one place, because if the Crotons were moving around, then the colonists would have had to move with them in order to kind of understand.
also like
Which makes sense why there wouldn't have been any traces.
Yeah, and also on top of that, why else would they write Croton if they weren't?
Yeah, with the Crotones.
that's like the big supporting factor.
Because it could have even been, because 3 years is a long time.
Yeah.
The fact is, they could have been like, okay, we're out of supplies. They go to the Crotones because they're friends with them. They kind of become a part of the tribe. And then when the Crotones are like, okay, we're going to move on, they could have gone back and written it in. So then White would have been like, okay, they're with the Crotones.
And White could have just been like, okay, it looks like they're good. I can go back to England.
But here's the thing, though, because how would you know that John?
'Cause
How does John White know that that's what it means?
Because when he was actually there, like he knew the Croatoans and the people were like friends, like
Oh, okay.
because they were helping them out at that point. They were helping them farm and that kind of.
I think he would have mentioned
then-
that, though. Like, that colony started to join the natives. Like, he would have mentioned that.
But he wouldn't have known that.
Yeah, and there's
He would have just known they were friends.
Yeah.
And then with the whole stopping of the writing in the tree with the crow,
Yeah.
it could have just been like two guys went back to write it in, and one guy wrote it in, and then the other guy was writing it in. But he was like, "Hey,
Yeah.
I already wrote it. We're
Or,
good."
like,
And then they left.
Yeah.
Or the tribe was with them, and they're like, "Hey, we got to head out."
Yeah.
Also, like, here's something to think about, but also kind of doesn't make sense now that I think about it.
Mm-hmm.
What if, like, the whole Croton written in the tree?
What if it's just an initial?
What if it's just like?
Abbreviation.
What if it's not? What if that didn't even happen?
What if
What
it's
if?
just short for
What do
it?
you mean?
What if like?
Oh.
Like, who's to know
saying?
that even happened? And also,
Yeah,
something
like-
else to think about is what if John White, like, what if like someone was going to say like, "Dang, where'd they go?" Because like, they need to report back to England what's going on.
Yeah.
So
England
what
would have
if-
sent more search parties.
what if he just had someone? What if he wrote, or he had someone write Croton in the tree?
Where they went missing?
Yeah, where they
Like,
went
where
missing.
Yeah, you know,
So that,
True.
like-
I don't know that.
So like they could just go back
It's
and
a mystery. Go
Yeah.
to that.
That's something to
area.
think about. Yeah.
That
Or
sounds
even,
better.
I mean, if you're really thinking that, it could have been like he found they were slaughtered by the Indians,
Just mark
and
it.
he was like, "I'm not telling England this."
Because that would have started a huge war, and that would have stopped exploration in America. Because oh my god,
I mean, they were already in war. They were already in war.
Let's bury the bodies.
screw America,
Hide,
get out of here.
like don't worry about the evidence and just write that crap and be like, this is what happened. We didn't.
Kind of like a warning to anybody who actually tried to come, maybe.
Well, it could have just been like he wrote that because he was like, yeah, exactly. He lied about the whole thing.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm not telling this, people. Everybody's gonna freak out.
Time out.
Yeah.
All right, in my opinion, there's two things that drive humans in this scenario: logic and emotion.
Right.
Logic being, don't tell Britain, or there's going to be a big war. A lot of people are going to die. Emotion being, where the hell is my granddaughter?
No, White would have definitely been. I think
I would have been.
it wouldn't have been. Yeah, no.
I would've been
If
like England,
I wouldn't have
here,
cared if I wouldn't care if they were about to start a war.
Yeah.
But he could have. It could have been this because he was probably the head of the group that went back. It could have been he was really pissed and he was like, "We're gonna go slaughter
And you
these
also
people."
have to think
And
about-
then the guys around him were like, "We can't do that." They wrote it. They lied about it, and they were like, "This is gonna freak everybody out.
Yeah.
We aren't gonna. Nobody's gonna want to come back
Because England
if we're like, yeah, these Indians slaughtered us."
And England had so much invested in the New World, all their economy was based on New World spices, trade.
Because the fact is, another thing is, even if White did tell the truth, the Queen could have been like, okay, we're like, this is too important for us to actually tell people this.
Yeah, that sounds.
But
So, which
Okay, you also have to think about
into this theory.
at the same time, English, the Spanish, basically Europeans thought Native Americans were less than humans.
Right.
They thought they were savages.
Yeah.
right.
So and they know that of course, gun beats bone.
Right.
Yeah.
So
But the fact is, that's what logic says. So if you take that logic and you say, even though we had guns and they only had arrows, they still
died.
slaughtered us.
Shows something.
That's why you would be terrified.
they also slaughtered us during the Civil War, and guns were much more.
I mean, during this time, you could shoot a bow and arrow a lot faster than you could shoot a 15th century rifle.
Exactly.
The reloading speed.
Exactly.
Gotta have that fire rate.
Okay, so I'm gonna lead into my thought,
Yeah.
which I've read on this website. So, and it kind of leads into what I was saying with the Queen.
Yeah.
The colonists were sabotaged by as part of a plan to discredit Sir Walter Raleigh. So Sir Walter Raleigh, if you don't remember, is the person that pretty much funded the whole exploration and colony. So pretty much, so it was a plot against them, by Sir Francis Walsingham, I think, which was England's Secretary of State under Queen Elizabeth I. And the reason he would have done this, so pretty big motive, I think, was that that Sir Walter Raleigh got a royal patent from the Queen saying all the land he settled in America was his. So that's if you don't that's a lot of land.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't know that, but now, from what we know, that's a lot of land. A lot of land.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you be like, I don't want this to happen. I'm gonna screw them over.
Because he kind of had control over what actually happens. History's written by the victor, so yeah.
And he's got all the money.
Money wins wars.
Money starts wars.
No.
Very true. Very true indeed. All right. So, do we have any more realistic theories that we could put out there? Anybody or?
I'm trying to think.
Realistic or unrealistic?
Oh, and then also with that theory that I was just saying, the theory that goes with this is just what happened to the colonists was they moved west. into what's now North Carolina.
Yeah.
And became, pretty much got killed by warring native tribes. Yeah. So that's why there's no...
They got caught in conflict?
Yeah,
So
pretty
the
much.
colonists decided
So that's
to move.
why
Yeah.
there's no evidence. It's because they packed up and left.
And
then
got massacred by
if the
tribes.
crown did know, they would have kept it a secret. Because it was that would have caused chaos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And nobody would have been like, yeah, let's go to the New World.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which would have stopped economic progress, which would have stopped America as it is today. So
Yeah.
Exactly.
But I mean, this whole thing that's bothering me about with oh crap, where people are dying over here, let's not go over there. At this time, people were driven by money,
Faith.
adventure, faith.
I mean, yeah, because when you really think about it, Jamestown was a colony of Puritans.
yeah.
Wait,
God.
no, that's not right. That's not right.
It's God.
It's but that was
They were sent there
Spain.
for money.
That was Spain.
Yeah, they were sent there
No,
for
because
money.
Jamestown was
It's for money. Cash
no,
crop.
they weren't Puritans.
Oh,
They
were
were
they Quakers?
I think
Yeah,
so. I think
they
Yeah.
pretty much started what's it called?
Religion,
No, they started making cash crops.
Yeah, marijuana.
But what's it called? I can't remember what the other colony is. Something Rock. Plymouth Rock. That was the
Original.
that was the original Puritans.
Yeah.
And the reason they went was just off of faith. And the fact that they were getting a lot of crap for being in England as a Puritan.
So if they thought,
let's go to America.
and if they thought they were getting worse off there, they wouldn't have gone to America. Yeah.
And that does make a lot of sense though, because if you were gonna go somewhere that you have no idea about, but you could start fresh new without having to, live in a society where people are downcast
and being
on you.
terrified of everything that's around you.
Exactly, yeah. So I think people were willing to take that risk, even if the crown did tell the people, "Hey, these people got slaughtered. It's probably not a good idea to go there."
But
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think they were smart enough to, if they were told that, they wouldn't have told it to the people.
Which begs the question: if Elizabeth or some of these guys that said, "Let's not tell anybody about this," could they have been the ones that, or this secret society, caused the disappearance of all these people who caught on to this over the ages, who wrote Croatoan, like they started the secret society?
Right.
I don't know. I mean, that is possible, but I just don't think we have any real evidence.
No, of course not. No real.
No
Yeah.
evidence. All speculation.
But who cares about evidence? I mean, what do you?
it's a conspiracy for that reason.
Now, who said something about it being a possible drought in that area that they were living in? Okay. Have you considered hunger?
Cannibalism.
Well,
Cannibalism.
they ran out of supplies.
Gotta
So-
eat each other.
Yeah, because when White left, they were low on supplies,
Yeah.
and he came back 3 years later.
Yeah, but
They're
wouldn't
gonna
the
run
tribes
out
have
of
helped
stuff.
them, like you guys?
Yeah,
I mean, the
no,
colonists,
definitely.
the tribes didn't help Jamestown because the one guy that ate his wife and daughter because he was so starving.
Yeah, but that's a different.
That was Jamestown.
instance.
Yeah, but still, think about you got to think about this from the natives. You see these people of different nationality, different kind of clothing coming onto your land. How would you feel about that in that time? Would you feel like they're invading, or would you just welcome them aboard? Because you have no idea.
But you said no sign of violence, and are you disproving the fact that they assimilated with the tribes now?
No, he's saying that's why they wouldn't have helped them.
Yeah,
Because, I mean, especially if they resorted to cannibalism before asking the tribe,
Yeah,
that would have been easily a reason for them not to help them.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, this is the big red flag that we've been watching for.
Then why would they
Why
let
would
them
we
join
help them
them?
now?
Why
That's
would
why.
they let them-
Well, that was a different group.
No, it's
that
the
was
whole starvation theory.
Oh,
Of just they starved
I don't
to
know,
death.
yeah.
They didn't help them.
I mean, the Jamestown people, the Indians ended up helping them at the end, but
right.
because after time they showed them how they could like work together and help. But at the beginning, that first impression, I can see why they wouldn't have helped them.
They would have been very skeptical.
They were,
and if there's a big red flag like cannibalism, they're not gonna be like, okay, let's still help them.
Yeah.
Because moral reasons, you know.
Yeah, because who's to say like you could be ending up on that fire pit at that time? You have no idea. So why would you want to help them? And in that risk of putting yourself in that danger zone,
Right.
Yeah.
So why would you help about it?
Okay, I'm done.
But you think they would have resorted to eating each other instead of like moving away? Like,
I mean, because you got to think about it like this. It's like you're in a place you have no idea. You don't know what's living there. You don't know the area.
that's what I'm saying. I think they would have tried to move away, like we've mentioned.
but cannibalism actually did happen. It's not if it happened. It actually did happen during that time.
But Jamestown was forced to stay there because that was during the winter season, and they were kind of cornered.
So like, who's to say it didn't happen?
Roanoke was an island too, so would they have risks like crossing over to the mainland?
I don't know. I think they would have tried that before trying to eat each other, though, because desperation.
I mean, they wouldn't have tried each other. It was one guy that was probably I'm done with this. Like I don't care anymore.
And if they eat each other, wait, if they eat each other, what happened to the bones? Do they eat the bones?
Hide the evidence, right?
They could have threw it in the ocean. Tide washed it away.
Someone would have found that eventually, though.
No, it depends because you got to think about bone density, how heavy it is. Because like,
Well, that whole area is developed now.
Like, those bones wouldn't have lasted this long.
Oh, we needed like the tablets, like the ones that were buried.
That's what I was about to mention.
Yeah, because like we're talking about how things might have been dug up, like this actual tablet.
Okay, let's get on the tablet.
Yeah.
So I'll kind of read this. I'll just read this because I don't really remember it. So from 1937 to 1941, people began discovering engraved stones, supposedly written by members of the Roanoke colony. A man claimed to have found the first stone, a 21-pound rock, somewhere along the Carolina coast. It's believed that Eleanor Dare used it to write a message to her father, John White. In the alleged account, Dare says the colonists moved farther away from the ocean a short time after White embarked for England. But they were plagued with illness and violent encounters with native tribes until only 7 colonists remained. Then there's, like, throughout the 1930s, North Carolina farmer came up with more than 40 more engraved stones, but those were all proven to be fake. The first stone is different, though, however, because it could be the real deal.
How do they disprove that it's different?
I mean, there's probably some way, but I have no idea. Okay.
Weird.
But like, I think that kind of makes sense because, not if it's possible. I think it's a lot more possible that they kind of assimilated into the Indian tribes.
So that's what you
think
the stone said?
Because if it's only it says. Well, no, I'm saying this because there's only 7 colonists remaining. Yeah. If there's only 7 white people, that gene's gonna go pretty fast. Yeah. Like that's kind of why I'm thinking, because you were saying you're gonna notice a blonde, blue-eyed Indian.
Yeah.
But like, if there's only 7, that's gonna be gone too.
That has a minor blip in the population.
Especially if they went really far away.
Yeah.
That's like, why would they go far away and be like, oh, there's a white person?
But remember, you guys said the tribes are small, right, in number. So, I mean,
but like, but it's not talking specifically about the Croatian tribe.
Yeah, and some tribes assimilate with other tribes, like they could.
Any tribe.
Yeah.
Right. I thought some of the Croatian.
Because the fact is, if they survived illness and violence with other native tribes, they're gonna become friends with at least one tribe.
Yeah.
So.
And you go back to like your bone density, like the difference between this and like the remains of human remains. This is like a rock. It wouldn't disintegrate like a bone would.
The fact is, like, if it's in the ground, that's one thing, but that's not gonna. If you throw a bone in the ocean, the tides are gonna destroy it over time. And after.
Well,
if you're saying, oh, well, but we will have found it by now. No, there's no way.
Counter argument. Like, of course, like, okay, you know how we have like skeletons of prehistoric seafaring, like sea animals,
but
that's petrified over millions of years.
True.
In the ground with like.
Yeah, that's like way down in the ground.
Right,
That's
right when they died. Like, wouldn't have like the bones been
over time? They would have decomposed.
But like, we would have found a lot more. That's like pretty rare to find, and that's for a reason. You have to have specific things to preserve that.
The 20 stones would be rare to find, I think.
Well, but that's the thing. 40 of them that were fine, and they were fake.
Yeah.
Only one of them was real.
Well,
how do we know that?
How do we know it's real?
But I mean, but like it's. I mean, just like we don't know it's real, but it could have been the real deal.
Yeah, that's why it's a possibility.
But like, there's that possibility over those 40 ones, and it's like there could have been more.
And when John White came back, I doubt that when he didn't see anybody, I doubt he brought like an army of men with like 20 shovels and they started digging to see what happened. I doubt he did that. No. So he probably left again. If the remains were still in the ground, then they would have decomposed by the time someone else came back.
Yeah, and dug.
Yeah. I mean, I think we've covered all the theories.
Yeah, that's true.
Leave your own comment in the theory and
comment in the description below.
Well,
hit that like button, smash it,
subscribe. No, please don't.
You guys about ready
We're joking. We're joking.
I think.
I mean, we've
don't take us seriously. We aren't cringy. I promise.
Maybe not all of us.
Jake is pretty.
So let's just go through. Like, let's go down the line and say like what we think.
Which ones do we agree with the most?
We can do that. That's fine. My theory that I think what actually happened was I kind of agree with the assimilation into Native American tribe, just because of all the evidence that points towards that. I would like to think it's one of the more cooler ones, like alien abduction one. I mean, that's cool to think about, but I think it was something simple, like either hunger starvation or they made friends with the Indians and that kind of thing. Yeah, so it was something logically explained that people at the time couldn't handle, or it was a cover-up like we talked about, which is also really cool to think. Got it. All right, Baldwin.
I think it was a cover-up. I think everything was kind of... Yeah, I think everything was set up. Because, like, honestly, honestly, at that point in time, I think Indians most likely would have, like, killed first, asked questions later with colonists.
Yeah.
So, I think it was covered up. I think when they returned, I think, like, they all covered it up, carved Croatoan into the tree, and then went back to England and say, we don't know what happened.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense.
Mm-hmm. I could see that. I could see that.
Yeah. What do you think, Brandon?
Oh, I mean, guys, you gotta think about the concept of, zombie shows and, like, The Walking Dead. And this concept of disease. It has to originate somewhere, guys. So, I mean, come on. Why not Roanoke,
Walking
right?
Dead.
Roanoke.
1885.
Season Roanoke.
Wait, would that make John White Rick?
No, because Rick didn't leave for 3 years.
I think that would make him Negan, I'd say.
Oh my god. Okay, anyway. I think the one that Baldwin said makes a lot of sense. But I think I'm between two. I'm between the discrediting Sir Walter Raleigh one, because I feel like that's like, it is pretty well done.
Yeah.
And then also the whole Dare Stones. And then kind of mixing that with the whole assimilation into the tribes.
Yeah.
Because it makes sense. If there's 7, that, the genetics are going to go away pretty fast.
Yeah.
Rip white people.
Native whites.
Alright, Chance, what's your theory?
I'm sticking by my theory as to, like, they did assemble, or not exactly assembled into their society, but I want to say, just kind of like the Puritans and how the Wampanoags helped them out during then. Yeah. I just want to, I think they might have helped them survive just in a different location, like, the
I'm impressed you could pull out that name. Did you look it up recently?
Ooh, we got that good memory. Guys. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching our video. We hope you enjoyed our content. And if you have any other ideas of what you want us to talk about in future videos, leave a comment down below. And until next time, peace out.